Welcome back. Still tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salailo Makwidir. The time is 8:45, and we're going to be switching gears to a bit closer to home. I think it's a big story, considering everything that has gone into it, the politics of it, and the conversations just around Starlink itself. I think it's one of the biggest tech and policy stories coming out of South Africa in recent years, and it's one that sits at the intersection of global innovation, economic transformation, and regulatory power. Elon Musk Starlink is looking to invest a staggering 2 billion in South Africa, but there's a catch. According to Business Day, the satellite internet provider is trying to sidestep South Africa's broad-based black economic empowerment, triple BEE equity rules that are in place. That there must be some sort of stake that is given to the country, black business people getting involved in it. But yeah, Starlink is saying no, it's not going to happen. They're proposing alternative contributions, for instance, leasing land, using local fiber infrastructure, and investing in black owned service providers. So, in short, they want to build but not share ownership. The move has reignited a lot of debate around South Africa's balance, attracting global direct investment while also honoring its constitutional commitments to redress and have an inclusive economic participation that all South Africans of all color and creed can participate in. I think it was just a few days ago, Communications Minister Solly Malatsi proposed amending BEE requirements for multinational satellite companies like Starlink, a move that angered a lot of South Africans. But he's essentially saying they would rather replace equity demands with local investment thresholds. But the critics argue this risks setting a dangerous precedent for foreign tech giants that could potentially bypass hard-won transformation policies like BEE. So, is this, the digital leap South Africa needs, or a backdoor of some sort for equity and accountability? Joining us now via StreamYard to weigh in this very, very contentious topic is tech educator and founder of IT Varsity, Bilal Kathrada. He's a long-term advocate for tech access, skills development, and inclusive growth in the tech space right here in South Africa. Bilal, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure having you on Salam Media. Assalamu alaikum. Hope to have an eye-opening, interesting conversation with you regarding this contentious bone.
Alaikum salam. And it's always a pleasure to be here, Salelo. And yes, this is a contentious topic, and I think South Africans should be taking very close notice of what's going on, the goings on around this technology.
I think let's maybe just unpack it briefly. Starlink in itself, I think a lot of people are reading about it. They might not really understand what is this thing. South Africa already has significantly good internet compared to everyone else on the continent and in other parts of the world. What's Starlink and what would it bring to South Africa in the most simplest of terms for our audience to understand?
Okay, so Starlink is actually a series of satellites that have been launched by Elon Musk's company that provides internet access direct from the sky. So there's no real need for on-the-ground infrastructure when you've got Starlink. And Starlink is blazing fast. It's very fast. It's, I think, a little faster than fiber, if I'm not mistaken, or about the same speed as fiber. But the main selling point of Starlink is that instantly, the moment it's switched on, people in every part of the area that is serviced can access it. There's no need for rolling out infrastructure. Now, this is very, very good news for countries that have poor infrastructure, countries that have no infrastructure. I mean, if you look at a country like Zambia, for example, almost all the infrastructure centers around Lusaka, which is the capital city, but the rest of the country is poorly serviced. Also for people in underserved areas, the rural areas, the more, our northern desert areas, they stand to gain from this because, again, they will be immediately and instantly switched on, and they'll have fast internet access thanks to Starlink. So it's all satellite-based internet. Once again, no need for any infrastructure. Now, what does it bring to the table? That's a good question that you asked, and I want to address that, particularly in the South African context. Now, in South Africa, we've got very, very good internet access, no doubt about it. We've got fiber, we've got 5G internet, we've got blazing fast internet. But there are two problems. The one problem is that data is expensive in this country compared to other countries. I mean, if you look at the rates that MTN, for example, not to single them out, but it's a fact, what they charge in South Africa per gigabyte versus what they charge in Zambia, I think Zambia is about half of what we are paying here in South Africa, which is the first concern. The second concern is that while we have great internet in the cities, the trouble is between the cities, in the rural areas, in the townships, in those traditionally underserved areas. There's still a discrepancy. There's still an imbalance in the accessibility, availability of internet, and also the quality of the internet that they get. Now, both of these things, I think, are not insurmountable. These are not unsolvable problems. I think these are things that, with the right political will and the right, cooperation of the corporate sector, we can easily overcome these things here. So, in that sense, what does Starlink offer South Africa? Not much, really. Not much. We are not, one of those countries that have almost zero infrastructure. We have great infrastructure.
And that's what's really interesting for me is, besides South Africa not really needing Starlink to, that level of other countries on the continent and other parts of the world, Elon Musk seems to be very, very interested in the country. He's insisting, that he wants to, operate on the continent's biggest and most viable economy. They've pledged 2 billion in infrastructure investment. They've placed support for Black-owned service providers. But critics still argue that this is still a way of bypassing equity ownership, BEE, something that's quite central to this conversation. What do you have to say about this? Do you see this as a fair compromise by Starlink or a dangerous loophole that could set, precedents for other companies? And also, what does it say about, other foreign companies that are also in the country and are complying with the BEE demands?
So I'm very clear about this, right? Starlink's wanting to come into this country, and the way they are doing it, it feels like some kind of digital colonialism. It's like just offer the locals some trinkets, and 2 billion is just trinkets compared to what they stand to make in South Africa. Because the moment they get in, within a few years, they're going to put all the local service providers out of business, right? And they're going to be able to compete on price that locals can never compete on. It's like your Netflix versus your DSTV. I mean, there's just no competition there. So yes, they will dangle this in front of us. They will put everyone out of business. They will get the monopoly, and that's what he's after. But the trouble with this is that that with American companies, it's more than just about servicing the country. It's more than just about doing business. It's always about ideology. It's always about what is best for America. So imagine a scenario where the sole service provider of internet to your country is the US, and South Africa is an outspoken country, right? I mean, look at recently with taking Israel to the ICJ. So we are not really America's favorites, and we are definitely not Elon Musk's favorites, and he has proven himself no friend of South Africa. So if your sole source of access to internet is coming from them, what stops them from imposing a kind of digital sanctions against South Africa when they are unhappy with us, or more subtly applying subtle forms of restrictions on the type of content that comes into the country? they could easily choke any content that's coming from China, for example, because the US doesn't like China. So there's all kinds of censorship that they can apply. And it's a very bad place to be in. I think at a time when the world needs to and is trying to move away from American hegemony, this is going to be a bad decision for us to get into bed with a company like Starlink, which is only here for one reason. It's here for the monopoly.
And I think you touched on a very, very important point. It was encroaching on my next question a bit because also with what we've seen with Iran and Israel in the last couple of weeks, the Iranian government officially outlawing the use of Starlink, and saying it might give some hacking into some of the private businesses of the country, especially in times of instability. But then, what's weird for me is our country seems to be entertaining this idea. The minister of communications, Minister Malatsi, suggesting those new rules that would let companies qualify for a license through investment rather than equity. What do you say to that? The South African government, is this a smart, practical shift for attracting multinationals, or a rollback of transformation in the tech sector, which we know, doesn't have a lot of representation in it? People of color, black and brown people, still largely marginalized in the sector. Is still largely owned by white private legacy companies. The government and how they're responding to this, they seem to be warming up to the idea and entertaining it. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we should, as South Africans, we should fight it tooth and nail. I think we should make it very clear. We should, voice our concerns about this. That no, we do not want to be sold out to an American company. We've got existing infrastructure, but this is where I'd say to the local service providers, come to the table. Come on, you've made a lot of money. Now go and expand your services into the underserved areas, reduce your prices, and make your data prices accessible and affordable to South Africa's poor. That's the one thing. The other thing is, look, these guys are relentless. They're not going to stop at this. If today, and I believe, Cyril said no over the weekend, and I think he said no a few times before, and they just keep coming back with bigger and better offers. And we don't know what underhanded dealings are going on. I don't want to get into politics. I don't know politics, but this is how they operate. They will do underhanded dealings to get what they want. It's going to take a lot of resolve on our part and the part of our government to say no and to stick to that stance. As far as investing 2 billion, where is that 2 billion going to go? What is 2 billion compared to South Africa's problems? I mean, we've got kids. And I'm giving you a real example. Kids coming to businesses from townships to cities, begging, literally begging companies, businesses to give them jobs. We've got the highest unemployment rate in the world, and that's something we should be looking at. We should be looking at how to fix this problem. I mean, recently we launched the FNB App Academy. In partnership with FNB, we were expecting 17 to 20,000 registrations. We received 250,000 registrations to do that course because people are hungry to learn. They're hungry to get the knowledge, to get jobs. That's what people want in this country. So dilly-dallying with a measly 2 billion, and I know 2 billion is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money at the same time. When you look at South Africa's problems, I think we should fight this. We should be against it, and not even entertain this 2 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion. There is a reason. No one throws 2 billion at someone. No one just does that. These guys have already done the projection. They've seen that they're going to make 100 times that in the South African market, and they're going to use South Africa as a base to get into the rest of Africa. So we are going to set a precedent, and I would be very unhappy if my only choice of internet in this country would be an American product, much less owned by a person like Elon Musk, who has proven himself to be a bit of a chameleon recently. It's just nasty. It's just nasty. I would support local service providers all the way.
Oh, I think we're going to leave on that note. Bilal, thank you so much for chatting to us. Always a pleasure. Really
Pleasure.
appreciate it. Bilal Kathrada, founder of IT Varsity. And yeah, what do you think? Do you think South Africa should make an exception for Elon Musk Starlink and allow them to operate without complying with BEE ownership rules as long as they invest locally? I think I agree with Bilal there. 2 billion in the greater scheme of things, looking at South Africa, it's really not worth it. And would you be comfortable when your only service provider, the only person that can give you the internet, the only person that's servicing the government with internet, the only person that has the back door to South Africa's secrets and the kind of information you and I can access is Elon Musk? Hmm? After the lies and the propaganda that he's been throwing out about South Africa, a white genocide, reverse apartheid, and all of that. Are you comfortable with that person holding the keys to South Africa's secrets, essentially? Because I think we can all agree that at this point, 2025, one of the biggest things that any country needs to protect is their IT systems, because once anyone has access of those, they have the potential to shut down your airports, to shut down your banking systems, to shut down electricity provision, to shut down government to people communications, and what kind of files can be released, or what kind of propaganda can be given out to the whole world using the back door of South Africa's IT systems. Is 2 billion rand in infrastructure enough to justify that, or to also justify bypassing black ownership requirements? Whether or not you agree with BEE in principle, BEE is a good piece of legislature, and it's up to you and I, people of this country, to make sure that, like every other brilliant piece of legislature that we have in this country, it is enforced properly. So I know people, yeah, well, BEE, well, it's just making a few rich black people. It doesn't really trickle down. That's true. That's real. But we can change that. But what we can't change anymore is when we've given Elon Musk the contract to say, "Shut, give us the 2 billion rand." And yeah, well, BEE, we'll see, we'll see, sometime. You can engage with us on our various social media platforms. What do you think about Starlink? What do you think about it potentially bypassing BEE laws? Minister of Communication, Mr. Malaz, is considering it. He's saying, well, you can bypass BEE laws if maybe, you put a significant direct investment on the ground. You work with local service providers. Maybe we'll think about it. We'll try and find a way around how we get you into the country and have you working without necessarily complying with BEE requirements. You can engage with us 0116800355. Our WhatsApp line is 061 Do you want Starlink in South Africa? Do you want Elon Musk to be the sole and only internet service provider to you and I? Abdul Shabalala on YouTube says, I'll take Hillbro's atrocity of an internet over Elon Musk's Ovalian Starlink any day of the week without hesitation. Also, Starlink literally surrenders our internet into our enemies. And that's it right there. In the last few weeks, Iran banned Starlink over fears of foreign influence and unauthorized internet access because they were in a war with Israel. Israel, that is what the sugar baby of the United States of America. That's they're an extension of the imperial agenda of the United States in the Middle East. And they're like, no, you can't have that. It's just too much. And 2 billion in the greater scheme of things, looking at South Africa, it's nothing. It's nothing. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, news and views continues. But then what's scary is what Bilal is also talking about. Our politicians, knowing them. Eh? I mean, Maladzi is also already showing signs that he's willing to bend to Elon Musk, knowing them. Hey, brown envelope here and there, tender here and there. Next thing you know, we have Elon Musk satellites over Johannesburg skies. Let's go to a net break.